Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of It Gets Butter. I'm so happy we have our next guest on this podcast. I first noticed him, he first came across my radar as the lovable character Jerry on Superstore. And then he reached out to me and wanted to do a Beer with the Queer, which is another show I do. We became friends. I've since gotten the chance to share the stage with him on stand up shows, open for him while he's on the road. He has done dropout TV. He constantly stays busy acting, performing everywhere. My partner Matt and I were lucky enough to see his one man show, Sardines, which is award winning. Him and I will both be at the Edinburgh Fringe this year. Please stay tuned, get excited. He talks about loss, he talks about getting through things, and he gives us some very simple but quick recipes for when you get home and don't want to cook too much, but make it delicious. My friend, Chris Grace. We are here with a new episode of It Gets Butter. This is our, first of all, let me introduce guest, my friend, actor, comedian, would prefer to be comedian actor, but I loved that in the survey.
Yes.
But my friend for the past couple of years now, Chris Grace, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Chris. Thanks for doing this.
So excited to eat butter. That's what we're gonna do, right?
We're just eating butter on it. So this is our first recording on the road. We've never taken this show on the road. I usually have like actual microphones.
They've all been in Florida?
They've all been in Florida.
Okay.
They've all been at Matt and I's house.
Oh, okay.
With like, I've got like a Z4 setup and like microphones, and it looks way more professional at our dining room table. But today we are in the patio of our Airbnb in Burbank, California.
That's right, where Johnny Carson used to shoot his show.
Yes.
Is this going to be the first episode where the food is not a Publix sandwich?
Or chicken tenders, or public chicken tenders. No, people have given interesting recipes. I've had some I had a chef on. He gave us a whole pasta recipe.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so you are the first person we have traveled 5,000 miles. I have no idea how long the
Something
U.S.
like
is.
that. Also, it's cool that you traveled out to California just to shoot this one episode.
Literally to shoot this episode with you. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, we do it because we care. So we're
and wait till the traffic spikes when people see me as the guest on this episode.
Oh,
the bump.
Finally.
Yeah.
Going to be recognized for it. We are excited to be here, excited to be talking to you. So like I told you kind of about the podcast, it's just an idea that I had where kind of creating this community where people can come for like other people's comfort food recipes, but also hear about some stories of stuff they've been through. I know because I've gotten to see one of your one-man shows, which you have a lot of. You have three critically acclaimed one-man shows at this point?
Two
critically acclaimed?
That makes it sound like I
one
have
that's
three
just
and one
okay.
I know, because last year I didn't do a full one-man show. Last year at Edinburgh Fringe, I did a different show every day.
Yes.
So that doesn't really count as anything.
But so so I do know that you've been through some stuff, so I'm happy to get into that. But let's start with, what is your relationship to food?
Oh, I have a wonderful relationship to food. You know what's interesting is I have always been a chubby, fat person, and I've always loved food. And I think this is somewhat rare that I have never had body issues.
Okay.
Like, and so, I mean, I do have an emotional relationship to food, but I've never really had like I shouldn't, like any guilt or anything around food.
Even living, how long you lived in LA now?
Yeah. No, I only associate with people at a certain BMI and above.
Oh, that's fair.
But that doesn't mean I don't have health issues, because I have type 2 diabetes and other things that are like doctors being like, you need to watch what you eat. Specifically, as a Chinese American, I am very predisposed to like things like rice and noodles.
Right.
Which are, I mean, I love them. And at this point, I'm kind of old enough that I think I'm just going to eat them until I die.
Well, listen, first of all, I will never shame somebody on carbs because I clearly love them as well.
Well, the thing is, so I could also just stop eating rice and noodles, right? And then I could maybe live an extra 6 years at the end of my life, you know?
Generations would look down on you and be ashamed.
Well, also what? Yeah, but also what? Like, is it's a genuine question of like, would it be better to live the next 30 years with rice and noodles,
Right.
or 37 years without rice and noodles? And I actually think with is
Yeah,
preferable.
that's the I remember seeing so long ago, like when people were like, if you cut bacon out of your life, you'll live 3 years longer.
Yeah,
And it's like, but it's the saddest 3 years. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah.
won't have bacon in your life.
yeah.
Um,
But anyway, I love food. I love I love cooking, but I also love Los Angeles is a great town for
good food town.
good food town. It's a great town for example, 6 hours ago, I drove by a place called Out of Ordi, which is in Koreatown, which has Korean salt bread. Scouting trip because there was a giant line. It's a very hot place right now. But I'm going to go on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I am the kind of person that like when Courage Bagels first came to Los Angeles, I was at Courage Bagels.
Right.
You know, Los Angeles has a lot of like hip of the moment spots to go to.
But also before Los Angeles, you were in New York, right? For over a decade
I was
in New York,
for
so?
almost 2 decades.
Almost 2 decades. And talk about another food town.
And I grew up in Houston, Texas, which is an incredible food town.
Yeah.
So I've always been spoiled by places. I was just in New York for 2 months, and I actually kind of forgot that there are some ways where Los Angeles is the best food city in the country, but I did forget that in New York there is this thing where like you can sort of like order delivery from like a random spot,
Okay.
and it comes and it's like, oh, this is like really good. Like the base level of like your average Chinese spot or pizza is pretty high in New York City.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot about that, but we were there. We ordered from the same soup dumpling place like 10 times. In,
Because you were in like the Brooklyn area, right? And I was in
Brooklyn.
Greenpoint, so a little bit north of, well, still Brooklyn, but northern part of Brooklyn. And
well,
and it was
you were
still,
near, and I never got to it. A place called Lindustry, which is apparently the #1 pizza slice in the world or country or something.
We actually, while we were there, my friend Kevin Taylor, my regular opener, came into town, and him and his wife suggested this pizza place that had elote pizza.
Oh, what was that?
It was delicious. It was like on a big focaccia bread, and there was the corn on there and a little bit of spices. And I remember going, "Oh, Brooklyn," because
That's true.
But like as much as I judge like the hipsterness of it, like they're trying flavors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They try the fusions of things, and I kind of loved that about it.
The only thing I don't like about Brooklyn is a lot of the men there have, this is a common Brooklyn look, mustache,
Yep.
which I like, baseball hat, and then short shorts,
Mhm.
and then often 2 thigh tattoos.
Okay, and a scarf.
Yeah, something about that I don't like.
Just the thigh.
I don't mind any of the no, like the thigh tattoo peeking out of short shorts
Okay.
with the mustache and baseball cap, and like probably like a Sufjan Stevens fan.
Right.
You know, I like all the individual elements, but and it's also when you see the 9th one of them
Yeah.
in a row.
There's a look of uniqueness that when you get to seeing a dozen of them in a row, you're like, it's less unique.
Yes.
Like we get it. This is the stamp.
Definitionally less unique.
Yes.
Yeah.
But each of them's like, I'm a unique look in this area, and it's like, but you've all grouped together. All of your
Yeah.
unique looks have grouped together, and I find it less unique now.
Yeah, I agree. Not like us. We dress so uniquely.
Yeah, I dress like a child, like I eat. So, all right. So, healthy relationship with food insofar as you like eating it. A lot of things that
Well,
you
yeah,
don't. Do you have
which
stuff
is-
that you don't eat?
No, I eat anything, and yeah, like I'm down for anything. Like there are things I like don't love as much, but I don't have any list of like sometimes on Facebook there'll be a list of check all the things you don't eat. You
Right.
know?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I'll be like my score is 0 because even things like I don't love liver, but I've had really good liver.
Yeah.
So I'll try it. You know.
That it's funny, and I think you can relate to this when I finally got to work with you, and we were in just north of Dallas, right, Plano.
Plano, yeah.
And after the show, you were like, "Hey, do you want to grab some food?" And I was like, "Thank God," because I love to eat. And like some people are like, "I don't eat before a show, I don't eat after," or whatever. And then you get into that thing where you're working with somebody for the first time, and then you're like, "Well, what are you up for?" And you were just like, "I'm up for anything," and I was like, "I'm up for anything." You were like, "There's this taco place open." I said, "Let's get some weird tacos." And we got some
Yeah.
delicious weird tacos,
Yeah.
like
trying to remember where we went.
It was like butter chicken taco, and
Oh,
like
right.
remember it was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was all these like unique little, and we were like, yeah, this is
Yeah,
delicious.
I'm
Let's go.
down for all this.
So that was great. That was great to find out that we share our interest in eating delicious stuff at any given time.
And I think, not to be too provocative, but a little higher level than your typical gay bear food taste, I would say.
Yeah.
I would just say that if we were typical gay bears, we would be down for like an Applebee's. You know what I mean?
One of the funniest sentences I've ever heard. I had at a party. My ex and I had a party at the house a long time ago. Bunch of gay bears there, and we got just a bunch of pizzas, right?
Yeah.
And like the cheese pizzas got eaten immediately, and my friend DJ just walked by us and just went, "Bears love cheese pizza," and then just kept walking. And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, it's basic, it's simple, it's easy."
And the veggie pizzas are still there. To this
Yeah, all
day.
the veggies, the crudité not
To
been
this day.
touched.
No, it's not. It's not that. Yeah, I mean, I'm very snobby about this stuff, but there is something like where you know what it is. Is I grew up in a time where like I would say stereotypical gay culture was like a, hey, we like to cook, we like to go out to eat, we have sort of like maybe like an ambitious sense of aesthetics or whatever, right? And one of the things I don't love about like stereotypical gay bear culture is that it's back to like, you know, fast food and
Yeah.
you know.
That being said, I mean, Matt and I have eaten Del Taco and In-N-Out since we've been in town.
Well,
but
that's
also we're
different.
deprived of it on
That's
the East Coast.
That's a form of tourism.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I'm in Texas, I'll eat a Whataburger for sure.
100%.
And
Yeah.
if I'm in Florida, do you have Wawas in Tampa?
Yeah. We got
I'll
Wawas
eat
there.
a Wawa every single
Yeah.
time. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, call me a snob. But
Well, you've been around good food your whole life.
if we're
though.
doing
like,
an Applebee's, then let's at least go to Chili's. Let's say.
right, let's at least crank it a little bit.
Yeah, Chili's I could get. I could do the Chili's. I guess as long as it's not a Fridays. I feel like Fridays is below.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
You think
okay.
Applebee's is the bottom?
Me personally, and that's me having worked at one.
Oh, okay.
I do. I think once you can get a riblet basket, I feel like you may have hit bottom. All right, so I usually ask ahead of time when we're just talking before we started recording. You're going to change your answer, but I try to get a comfort food.
I mean, I can talk about both.
We're going
Fast.
to. Oh, we will. So comfort food for you, the one that you sent me, very college dish.
It is very college dish, and actually will make me look like a hypocrite based on what I just said about Applebee's.
100%. Also, I love that you were like, first of all, let's call it what you called it. You said you love a spaghetti bolognese, which I feel like terming it spaghetti bolognese elevates what the dish was.
True, spaghetti with meat sauce.
Yeah, it's a spaghetti with meat sauce. I think a traditional bolognese is a bit different. If we're going to get picky on
Sure.
it. But spaghetti with meat sauce, which is something I grew up on, it's a great college dish.
Yeah.
Your take on, by the way, you're like right on the edge, and I'm so afraid you're going to fall. But also, I kind of hoped
It
you
would've
would
been
for
funny,
the camera.
yeah,
Yes.
Just be
also,
like-
you know, that's the clip.
Just be like, well, as a person that always grew up fat.
I'd cut it great. So it was, you get ground beef, pound of ground beef,
Yes.
brown it,
Yes.
add a jar of sauce,
Yes.
cook noodles,
Yeah.
Combine.
Salt it pretty heavily.
salt the water.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And then combine it, and that is your spaghetti bolognese.
Yes, and I am a person that uses MSG with the meat as well.
So you
You should
flavor
salt
your
the meat really as you brown it.
Yeah. You flavor the ground beef with MSG?
Yeah.
All right.
Or at least when you combine it with the sauce.
Okay.
And I was just thinking about how like annoying it is over the years to talk to people about things that like have a clear science basis, which is like MSG is not harmful in any way, and there are like no health detrimental effects to MSG at all. And you can watch the whole like David Chang exploration of it on Netflix. But,
Right.
like there's a long history of sort of coded anti-Asian sentiment in terms of being resistant to MSG, which ironically was started by an Asian guy who wrote a letter to a newspaper one year. Anyway, MSG is an incredible ingredient. You should always use it when you can, and specifically for comfort foods,
Okay.
hits these like notes of like there's a particular kind of saturated flavor that it provides that is particularly good for comfort food
All right.
needs. Now, the reason this is also comfort food for me is because it's very easy to make.
Right. And you said college turned you onto it.
Yes, although I'll give you a couple variations. My last partner, James, discovered that you actually don't have to brown the meat first. You actually can just cook the meat and the sauce together, which eliminates a whole step.
It does. It does change flavor a little
bit. And then what?
It's like you don't need to sear a chicken breast. You can just boil it, but it will taste different.
Yeah. So, and then my husband Eric has found he can do a similar thing, but in a Instapot pressure cooker.
Okay.
With the noodles.
Okay.
And it's done pretty fast and like. Now, the reason I don't do it his way is there's a more traditional like Italian thing of like you want the sauce and the pasta to be combined.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is going back to my juvenile upbringing, which is that when I grew up, every time you saw spaghetti on television, it was a pile of white pasta with sauce in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think this comes from my like Chinese upbringing. Like I like having the sort of bare pasta taste with the sauce as almost like a condiment.
Yeah.
So I actually like having it served pasta with the sauce and then you know, like not all combined. For generally people like to like you cook it through one more time to sort of like integrate the sauce and the whatever. But also that's getting into elevated versions of this dish, which is this is not. This is like a weeknight.
This is just you get home, it's super easy.
Yeah. It's ground beef, salt, MSG, a jar, the cheapest sauce you can find, and some pasta if you can, bucatini, but spaghetti's fine.
Do you throw some of the pasta water?
You can.
You feel like that's too chefy for what we're talking about?
You can. If you remember to save it, you put a little cup in the sink when you drain the. You can do that.
I also, and I'll tell you this, because like traditional bolognese, you cook down, you got to cook this down, you get all these depth of flavors, and it takes like hours upon hours, and it sounds exhausting. And I always look for ways to cut hours out of cooking. I saw a cheat that is you take like. You brown your ground. Well, like you start off with like, if you want to go a little bit chefy on it, I do this thing where it's like, you cook down some onions and carrots in like olive oil, right? And then you put in your ground beef, and then salt and pepper to taste and so on, and then a little red curry paste.
Okay.
And the red curry paste gives you that depth of flavor that you don't have to cook for like 5 hours anymore. It's a cheat sheet for it.
The other one I've heard for simulating bolognese is instant coffee.
Okay, yeah, because it adds a richness to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Instant coffee and red curry paste. Get a real richness in there. But yes.
I just flashed another comfort thing that I have that I didn't tell you about, which is you take a few sticks of butter, melt them in a pan, combine them with tomato sauce, some salt, some MSG, and then you let it you combine them, and then you sort of let them cool down so that you have a tomato butter. Okay. Which you can take any like Costco bag of roast chicken.
Yeah.
And put this tomato butter on it, and it is so good.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to try tomato butter. I'm going to try a lot of these.
Yeah.
But tomato butter sounds really interesting. Oh, so then you came. I'm being attacked because we're doing this outside.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, first ever episode outside in the elements.
That's
so we'll
right.
see how this goes. So then
I have a more Asian one.
You brought a more Asian one. I can say that. You brought a more Asian one.
Ironically, from a white man's cookbook. Roy Finnemore.
Where would we be without white men?
I know. I'd be back in China, I guess.
I wouldn't be born.
This is super easy. Linguini, to simulate like the kind of Asian pasta. You boil it, and you just combine it with some regular salt, soy sauce, oyster sauce, and sesame oil, and then with scallions. Yeah. And it is so good. It is, and I would find your own ratio of those ingredients as to what you like. I like a lot of duck sauce or oyster sauce, and also I'm old school in that like I don't bother cutting the scallions. I take, my mom would do this, just a bunch of scallions with scissors and just cut them over.
Can I just say I love in Asian cooking the use of scissors way more
Yeah.
than what's done in Western cooking.
Very odd.
Like it makes so much sense.
My mom always cut pizzas with scissors.
Okay, well, we
Cook-
lost me just a little bit. there.
Cooking scissors.
Yeah.
You know.
But there's like cooking scissors and like but it's funny because so many, I remember growing up and in like the knife block, right? Like the chef knife block, in the center, there was always the scissors there. And I was
Yeah.
like, what are these for? And then it's like cutting herbs or,
Sometimes good for cutting up, like dejointing like chicken bones and stuff, you know?
I never, until I started going to like hot pot places in
Yeah.
which I was like, oh yeah, it's thin meat. Why wouldn't you just cut it with scissors?
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah,
this
yeah,
just
for
makes
sure.
sense.
Korean barbecue, you just
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, really, like an Asian kitchen setup could be just like maybe a paring knife, some scissors, and then just one big Asian cleaver
Right.
that you do a lot of different things
A
with.
lot of things are done with the cleaver. It's pretty
Yeah.
impressive when I watch a lot of like chefy shows.
Yeah.
And you just see a cleaver at work is really
I mean,
good.
I have a couple modes of cooking. One of these dishes, which are just like, and I should cook these more because I would say in the last year or two, we've been ordering out a lot.
Yeah, you're on the road a lot doing what you do, right?
Yeah.
You're on sets, you're doing comedy, you're doing improv all over. You stay
Doing board game content.
That's right, board game content. Which side note, I still reference you anytime I'm in a board game store. We went in one, right? Well, we went in a couple. You and I in Plano. We went into
Oh,
I
we went
think
to a
two.
gigantic one.
But it was so impressive. We walked in and you were like, "This is this game. This is how this is." And I was like, "How do you know every game?" It was like a Buc-ee's of board game stores,
It was.
and it was just very
called,
impressive.
Like Madness or something.
Yeah. Very impressive. So when was the last time you cooked either of these noodle dishes?
The spaghetti with meat sauce, probably within 2 weeks of the last time I was in town. I just got back to Los Angeles. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's probably at least once a month, if not every 2 weeks. That's just a really easy thing. And when I say like it's again, it's a lot of carbs, not the best thing for me. But actually, I think it's probably still better for me than ordering
processed or
ordering a bunch of takeout.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, wherever you are watching this, these days in Los Angeles, if you order DoorDash, it's gonna end up being like $80, like no matter what you get.
That's everywhere's getting so expensive. Well, I'll also say, and it's funny because like, you're kind of go to, we're on our way to San Francisco staying at my cousin's place. And one dish that I picked up there, and I think you'll appreciate is like, we noticed in his backyard, he had a lemon tree and a yuzu tree, which I got very excited about because I love yuzu and you just don't find, I haven't found fresh yuzu outside of his backyard. And so like second night, and I'm looking forward to doing it once we get back, is I just made a lemon yuzu pasta. And it was just as simple as like,
Ooh.
it was boiled, spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then in a saucepan, I just cooked down butter, and then, zest of lemon and yuzu in there, squeezed some juice in there, and then combined it with Parmesan, and then just mixed it all together and literally, and salted to taste salt and pepper. That simple on pasta, and it was just delicious. No protein, it was just a simple like sauce, noodles, fresh from the tree. It was just, I can't wait till we get back there next week and start raiding his tree again, which it better be there.
Could I put you maybe adding mushrooms to this?
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, I would absolutely do that.
Well,
Yeah,
a champignon.
yeah, that'd be good. I'll send you a picture of it next week when we do it with mushrooms.
Amazing.
All right, so so they still do them, still comfort food.
Oh yeah, what I was saying was I have modes where I'll cook this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a mode where I'm like, okay, I'm now going to like, do something really elaborate.
Right.
That's less common these days. But I mean, I do enjoy getting into but I wouldn't call any of those comfort food. And also sometimes you are trying an ambitious recipe and you get to the end of it, it's like, oh, I messed up a few steps in this one.
So where did so it seems like noodles are your comfort food because both of the dishes noodle based, right?
Yeah, because the rice-based comfort, and I do see rice as a comfort as well, but rice comfort, I can think of dishes that are like fulfill the same thing, but they aren't dishes that I make. But most of the rice-based dishes that are comfort foods for me are, this is really niche, which is some kind of meat dish that has like a gravy to it.
Okay.
And then the gravy mixes with the white rice.
Yeah.
and then I almost prefer eating the white rice with the gravy over whatever the dish is.
Yeah.
And what's really odd about this is that I described this once to my nieces and nephews, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. Like I had described something that their palates also really related to. But it was very strange because like, oh, genetically you must have some kind of like predisposition to this.
That's interesting because that's and I feel the same way because like Matt will make a like cube steak and white rice. But you know, with the cube steak you make a gravy from that, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got all that gravy and on the white, and I'm just like, oh, just soak it in.
Yes,
and just,
actually, in Florida, you don't have Jollibee, do you?
Yeah, it's
okay.
around. Yeah, we've
Okay,
been there.
so the Salisbury steak at Jollibee, which is just like a little cafeteria lunch steak with gravy over their white rice, is so good. That's what I would. That I mean, there's plenty of fast food comfort foods that I go to.
Oh, sure.
But Jollibee is definitely one of them.
Nice. Jollibee was interesting to me. I was excited to try it because when it came into town, so many Filipino friends got so excited about it being there. And then I went in and I was like, you have fried chicken and spaghetti. Why? What is happening? What world do these two live next to each other?
The Philippines.
And in the Philippines, they're just like, yeah, you have fried chicken, and then you have, but it's a unique type of spaghetti that actually kind of they use like banana ketchup or type of ketchup because there's like a sweetness in the sauce.
And it's got hot dogs in it.
Yeah, and it's just, it's different.
It is really good.
But it's super tasty.
I remember I had friends from Ecuador, and he would cook sometimes, and they would at least the way he cooked, he would regularly have like potatoes and rice on the same dish, which I think from a Western point of view, you'd be like,
well, because we were trained
in one or the other.
Yeah, we were trained here that it's like, you know, the thirds on it. You have your veggies, your starch, your meat type thing, which I love. People are like, corn counts as a veggie, even though technically it's a starch. So if I have like mashed potatoes and corn, it's still two starches.
And I think that like at least that sort of whatever that world of American cuisine, the veggies ended up being so boring. You know,
they weren't because I mean, growing up, it was a lot of canned stuff back in the day.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's why kids didn't like the veggies.
No,
they're
just.
But if you go to a Chinese place and you have like, just like sometimes they just have like Chinese broccoli with oyster sauce on top.
Yeah,
so good.
Like the fried green beans, or not even fried, but like wok green beans, or anytime I go out, we will always get the if there's a cucumber salad, and I don't even ask how it is. Because it's either going to be like fresh, it's going to have this vinegar base, it's going to be spicy, but chili, whatever it is delicious. However they do it, I love.
Do you have Din Tai Fung in Florida?
No, but funny enough, Monday night we're going to Din Tai Fung.
Yeah.
Have you
been, or no?
No, but we're going. We're going Monday night. That's already on our books.
You have to get the cucumbers there.
Yeah, we will. 100%. All right, good comfort food. Comfort food leads us to what you need comfort from. And let's talk about, again, I've been fortunate enough to see your award-winning one-man show, Sardines. If you haven't seen it yet, if you have a chance to see it, absolutely incredible, by the way.
Thank you.
You changed what I was doing with my one-man show and now have convinced me to go to Edinburgh Fringe. Whether you meant to or not, that
now your show's about how you're Chinese. I thought that was a strange pivot.
But Scarlett Johansson can do it, so can I. Referencing his other show. But let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. What is a hard time you've gone through that you came out of, you're going through, you have advice from? What's a hard time that you want to talk about? Hard, difficult, challenging. I don't want to say just hard because, you know, challenging times are, you know, I don't want to put levels on them because we've talked about on this podcast, we've talked about so many different times with people.
Yeah.
So it's really whatever you want to get into.
Well, I mean, like the show's about a bunch of people that died in my life.
Yeah.
And sort of individually, those were all really difficult. But sort of on a broader level, one thing that was interesting is that, like, I think one of the challenging things about those years, which is going from 2012 to 2016, 17, really up to 2022, really until now. But I don't know if people can relate to this, but like there were also times in those years where as a, freelance artist, I think I was really close to this challenge over those years of, okay, like being in a long-term relationship,
Right.
and then my partner died, and we had been together 14 years,
Okay.
and feeling adrift in a way of like, okay, what if your life plan now is like out the window,
Right.
and there isn't really something defined for you about what you're supposed to do with the next 10 years of your life, and part of you also feels that it's pointless, because like, why do we as human beings like create these wonderful lives because we know they're going to be destroyed at some point?
Sure.
And like
The fragility of it all, and
yeah, and the like feeling of like, do I want to create a happy life because I know it's going to end sadly?
Yeah, I think that's the tough when you're in it too, right? Because when you're in it and processing it, I think it could be very hard to turn around and say, like, yeah, this is super painful. Let's do this again. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a version of the thing of like when you have pets that die,
Right.
and then you're like, do I want to get another cat because
That
I will
really
probably
sucked
outlive
when
this cat as
yeah.
well, you know? But then there's also the part of you that's like, well, it was, you know, because we had my husband Eric and I about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, both of our cats died within 24 hours of each other.
Okay.
And
So they had like a suicide pact type thing, or
well, murder suicide. One of them,
Okay.
it was weird. They had a very small gun, and but there was the perspective of like, well, we got to spend 16 years with these two cats, and like we got to give them a good life.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the shift in perspective as opposed to looking at what you lost is what you had type thing. Does that make sense?
yeah, I think so.
Kind of cherishing and recognizing, like, even when it comes to you know, the loss of your partner you were with for 14 years.
Yeah,
You could close off, but that means you wouldn't have 14 years of being with somebody again. You know.
yeah, but I will say there's times in that when you're in those depths that you do feel like, oh, fuck all this, none of this was worth it,
Right.
because it feels so low
Yeah.
at those points. I mean, but also the sense of there's a real visceral sense during those times that the world is truly chaotic, and that like nothing feels safe.
Okay.
And so it's the combination of that with the like, oh, there really is no like plan for anyone's life, which in the end turns out to be a potentially freeing idea,
Sure.
but can also feel rudderless.
Yeah. Overwhelming by any
Overwhelming.
means. You're looking at such a macro concept. Yeah.
Yeah, overwhelming in the sense of like, well, we had these plans, we were going to do this or that, and now you do have the freedom of being like, I can do anything I want, which when you're in certain situations, and you know, we were in a happy relationship, but like, you can be in certain like a job or whatever,
Yeah.
a relationship where you're like, man, I wish I could just do whatever I wanted. I wish I could like drop everything and just go live in Australia for a month or whatever.
Right.
And then sometimes you get that opportunity and you're like, but now I don't want to do that. Or I could, but like, when you're in I think the emotional lows of those times, sometimes it's hard to see any value in anything.
Right.
So it's like, yes, I could go do these things that I always said I wanted to do, but like, is it all meaningless? And the thing is, it is. But it being meaningless, or it has no intrinsic meaning.
Right.
Right. So like, but that can be freeing in the sense of like, you know, the depressing thing about it is because you could look at it as like nothing has any meaning. You could also look at it as like, you create the meaning.
I was going to say meaning
You
is
know?
going to be what you make it,
Yeah.
type thing, and meaning's going to be what weight you put on things. And you know,
Yeah.
you might have to shift. This had meaning before, but does it really have meaning to me now?
But I also sympathize with people who feel like that is true, but also that is like sort of an intellectual way to look at it.
Sure.
It is a head over heart sort of way to look, because you end up telling yourself like, well, meaning is what you create. But sometimes your body is just like, nah, fuck all this. You know?
Yeah. There's a real, I mean, when sad and bad things happen to you, there's a real part of the system in your body that shuts down as well. Like, you know, because your brain's overwhelmed with stuff.
Yeah.
That affects the rest of your body. So like,
Yeah.
you know, and I am not a professional on it, but when people are depressed and they don't feel like getting out of bed, you could, their mind can say, I need to get out of bed, but their body could still be reacting with the thought of like, you don't
Yeah.
have the energy. I mean, there's no reason they wouldn't have the energy, but
Yeah.
that mind over body thing is much easier said than practiced.
Yeah. If one thing I would say is that I do believe that if you have a certain thermostat of like where your mood generally is,
Mhm.
even through traumatic things, your body tries to find its way back to that same thermostat
Right.
level. Which means that if like before something, including great things that happen to you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people experience this, that they might lean towards being depressive, and then they like achieve something they really loved or sought after for years, or
Right.
whatever, and they get it, and then like the next week they're like, oh, it didn't really make me feel.
It comes back down.
Came back to where it was. I also think that is true of the other direction as well.
Yeah.
Which also does mean that like you have to be careful, because if you're a person that like has depression, let's say, and like takes medication, and something traumatic happens to you, I do think you need to be. That's a time to be very vigilant with your mental health providers,
Right.
as to like, your safety and
Getting back to this medium that
yes, getting back to like stability.
Yeah.
Whatever your version of stability was.
I think it's a good way to put it too, whatever your version of stability is, because for every single person that's going to be different.
Yeah.
And like you said, every single person's equilibrium point is going to be different at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I feel like I was always basically a cheerful, optimistic person, and I still am. It's just sort of
I was about to say, you said was, and then I was like,
no, I still am, but it's flavored with a much more direct sense of and strengthened by the sense that like this will end.
right.
I am aware of my own death and everyone's death constantly now, and it sort of was before, but in almost an academic way. I think when you're a kid growing up and you're kind of emo and you listen to Belle and Sebastian and Rufus Wainwright, you're like, yeah, I like, I enjoy being sad and all that stuff. And then like real things happen to you, and now sometimes those things seem kind of quaint, but if you still have that, it's like an optimism that is like truly informed by the horrors of the world, and
having experienced some of that. So
yeah, and coming through it on the other side. I mean, I did. Wait, did I put that in the spreadsheet that like you would get through everything? Was that one of the things
you did mention something? Yeah.
Yeah, basically you survive every challenge you face except one.
Except one. Yeah, you did say that. Except one.
Well, you know what? Like I have thought. I do think people sometimes. It's funny because I mean, so just to sum up, my brother died, my sister died, my partner died, and both my parents died within like a 4-year period.
Right.
And I think people worry too much about all the different things that might kill you, because only one of them is going to kill you.
They all can't do it.
You can't be killed by cancer and a heart attack and a plane crashing and
Right.
a school shooter and food poisoning. I mean, I guess you could. That would be
It.
But then it would be like, that's quite a story.
It's literally the term overkill.
Yeah. And I just think with all my family and friends who died, some of whom had a lot of anxiety about those things. Like my partner James died of a heart attack, right? But he was also worried about like a bunch of other things, right?
Right.
And now I just think like, well, just think of all those brain cycles wasted worrying about cancer when you died of a heart attack.
And did that change your perception on worrying in general?
I mean, it's hard. I've never been a big worrier.
And I will say, like, there's a difference between taking something serious and being aware and worrying, right?
Yeah, although I think a lot of people that worry about things don't take them seriously. Like,
I think they're taking them too serious sometimes.
Well, what I mean is that I think I know a lot of people that worry about, let's say, heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
I would put myself in this category. I'm concerned about heart disease because there's a history of it in my family. Do I do anything about it? Not a lot.
Worrying, I think for a lot of people, worrying is the doing something about it.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm worrying about it.
Right.
That counts.
Yeah.
Well, have you changed your diet? No, I'm worrying about it.
Right.
I've got it.
I mean, maybe it feels like doing something about it.
So I have a question for you about a lot of loss in a short amount of time,
Yeah.
and this just popped in my head.
Would not recommend.
0 out of 5 stars. Do not
Yeah.
recommend.
Well, 1 out
Um,
of 5.
did it turn you off for a while, or has it permanently turned you off from? And I'll tell you where this is coming from.
Or did it turn me on?
Let's hope not too much. From going to funerals in general.
No.
And
it has turned me off of being in hospitals.
Okay.
I really do not enjoy being in a hospital, and I've been in hospitals a lot.
Right.
And it does bum me out that for a lot of us, our last hours and days will be in a hospital.
Right.
Because I just think it's such a not great place to be like the last place you're in.
It's not the happiest place on earth. It's not.
No.
They're not fun.
And I'm really good at being in hospitals now, because like one thing I think a lot of people don't know, if you haven't been in a hospital much, is like,
good for your life choices.
yeah, is like you can kind of go anywhere you want in a hospital.
Yeah.
Like once the person you're there to visit or take care of is in the hospital, you would think that like it's like, oh, that's where the patients are in this emergency. Like you can just walk around wherever you want and no one cares, because it's like it's not like they're so vigilant about like, hey, excuse me, where are you going? No, they're just like sometimes you walk up to a desk to talk to someone and it takes them like 10 minutes to even acknowledge you're at the desk.
Right.
You know, like they don't care that much. Generous way of looking at it is they're busy with other whatever.
Two sides to the coin.
But anyway, so no, funerals, I'm sort of indifferent to, but
Okay.
like through these experiences, I have been in hospitals a lot.
That's the hospital. Because I was just curious, because I have a friend of mine who, older than us, but went through a lot of loss in the 80s with the AIDS epidemic, to the point that when he got into the 90s, he just stopped going to funerals.
I could see that.
And literally, he went to his first funeral last year for the first time since like mid 90s. So, and I understand it, but it is a weird, not weird. It's I don't know if everybody gets to that point or understands that thought process of like, I've been to them. Like, yes, I understand my friend just passed away and us being there helps the family, but also I put my time in at enough funerals. I don't want to. So I was just curious with somebody who did so much in so little time.
Yeah, I also, I can see that why. Like, if the person doesn't feel like they're getting much out of it,
Right, yeah.
And I also do think from the family's perspective, like it might be nice for you to be there for the family, but like the family's going through their own blur of emotion. That
they've got other stuff going on.
They're probably not going to notice whether you're there or not.
Funerals are for the living, right? So really, I mean, it's there. You can honor your friend, family, whatever, however you want, but they don't notice if you're not there or not. They're dead.
Oh yeah, the dead.
I mean, at the end of the day. So what? Here's two questions I always ask the guest, having gone through something, especially something so heavy and traumatic multiple times over as you went through. What advice would you have for somebody that's going through something like that right now?
I mean, one thing I thought at the time, which I think is true, is I would encourage you to like put as many experiences in a row as you can from the thing that's traumatic. Like there's a study right now that I mean, this is for a few years old, but like there's a study that was showing if you experience something traumatic, like within 12 hours,
right,
that you should try to play Tetris on your phone.
Okay.
Because something about playing Tetris short circuits your ability to save the trauma into like long-term memory.
Okay, so it's kind of a reprogramming thing.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that like you're not going to want to feel like going to dinner or seeing a show, seeing a movie, going on that trip, whatever. But there was a part of me that felt like, let me not. There's a satisfaction in wallowing in it, for sure, but there was a part of me that wanted to keep my body and mind active. And I guess the caveat I would say is that you probably won't enjoy any of the experiences that I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like it will be very distracting. You'll be at a movie. I mean, I guarantee the next 10 movies you see will somehow refer to your personal trauma.
Right.
It'll be like you're watching Toy Story 5, and then like somebody will die doing a cartwheel off of the Grand Canyon, and you're like, that's how my aunt died. You know,
Right.
like I mean, you do start to see like weird coincidences show up. But I don't know. I think that like, let's say you are in a low point and you spent like 7 days in a row just in your house without going outside,
Sure.
sort of sitting in it. I think that in a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, that 7 days is going to compress in a way that like, it won't make a difference if you sit there 7 days or 3 or 11.
Right.
It's just going to be you. It won't provide your mind or your body the stimulus to like move. And I'm not, you should not feel pressure to move on, even though people will sort of subconsciously put pressure on you to move on. But like, just give your creative spirit the opportunity to just see some other views of the world.
Put something else in front of you that's
I
not
think
the trauma.
And the thing is, the trauma will keep returning.
Yeah.
But I think actually, maybe
You're not
it's-
replacing it. It's always going to be there. It's a part of you. But
Yeah.
you don't need to force yourself to not let that be the only part of you for too long.
Well, this is my theory, which I just came up with.
Okay.
Which is that if you put something else in front of it, the trauma has to sort of claw its way back in, which it will do. But
Okay.
I think every time it has to claw its way back into a new stimulus or new environment, I think it'll lose a little bit of strength. So like it costs the trauma a little bit of life energy to like get back in front of you when you are seeing Schmigadoon on Broadway.
Yeah. That's a unique way of, you're either describing The Girl from the Ring, or that's a really unique way to look at
Right.
trauma.
What I'm specifically saying is watch the movie The Ring
What I'm specifically
over
saying.
and over, specifically the Japanese original.
Oh my God. What advice does Chris Grace of today have for Chris Grace of 2012
12 or whatever.
when you were first starting to go through this? What advice would you give yourself, knowing what you're about to go through? I mean, with everything, all the experiences you've had since then, what might you tell yourself as you're starting to go through this?
I do have one tangible piece of advice, which is I did own 1 Bitcoin back then. And I sold it.
You're gonna want to get rid of that Bitcoin, trust me.
No, I want to save it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
You're gonna tell
I
yourself,
bought it for $800.
at some point going through all of this, you'll feel better holding on to that.
Because I bought it for $800 and I sold it for $1,200. Which
Okay.
at the time I was like, hey.
Yeah, money.
But if I had all of that now, it'd be like $60,000. Okay, let me think about it. Because I'm actually proud of the way I navigated those 5 years.
Right.
I was grateful for.
You just want to go back to yourself and say, no notes. You're gonna do great.
Well, I guess what I was, I'm like, in a way, I'm not grateful that those things happened,
Right.
but I'm grateful that, like, I feel like a much more whole person now
Right.
than I did before. I guess the advice I would give, like, I wasn't particularly hard on myself, so I wouldn't say, like, take it easy on yourself. And it eventually caused me to move out here to Los Angeles, which has been really rewarding. I think maybe, let me think about this. It's 2012. I moved out here in 2014. I think maybe I would say that I think I could have tried to share these experiences with people sooner.
Sooner.
Yeah. And that's just what I'm talking about, that sort of like chaotic thing where I didn't know what the plan was.
Right.
I think that in the end, my salvation, in a way, was talking to people about it through the form of art. Right. And I think that what happened was there was sort of a big hollow inside of myself that eventually sort of got smaller and smaller. but I think that creating art around it was one of the ways that really helped make it smaller.
Okay.
And I think that I could have done that sooner, because I would say from 2012 to 2015, there was a part of me that was maybe a little bit like absent from like my creative self.
Okay.
I was still doing like comedy. I was still auditioning for. I was still doing things, but I think that like, it took me longer, I guess, than expected to sort of integrate my thoughts around all this stuff into like creative acts. And I think maybe if I had started just even like just say like writing poems about it or something,
Right.
I might have run the risk of like making bad art about it earlier.
Sure.
But I think the way I'm oriented, and that's not racial,
Nope,
is
I wasn't going to touch that.
is that that is a way of me processing things. So I think I could have started a little bit of that processing earlier.
Okay.
Because like doing stand-up and doing auditioning for commercials and like none of that was like a way of confronting any of these feelings.
Yeah.
You
Would
know?
you? I mean, you were just going through life, and that's how.
Yeah.
That was
no,
life.
like I think that's very normal.
Yeah.
But
There's nothing wrong with just moving forward.
yeah.
You know.
But I also see on the other side that it was so, like a lot of the stuff I've done, like the show that you saw, has had a therapeutic effect on
Right.
me. So like, I probably could have done it sooner.
Okay. All right. So your advice to yourself going through all this trauma
Just
is
make art sooner. Maybe.
get to your award-winning show sooner. Got it.
Well,
Well,
maybe so.
um,
Because I could have maybe gotten that show out while they were still giving out Netflix specials,
oh, there you go.
and then I would have an extra $75,000 in my pocket.
But then, would we be friends, or would you have better friends?
No, I think I would probably be at a few levels up from you, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't acknowledge you.
No, 100%. This would have never happened.
Yeah.
because those people don't return my text anymore.
Right. Like I have Nate Bargatze's and Mark Norman's phone numbers, and they never text me back anymore.
They're very rude.
Yeah, I mean Nate's busy at the UFC fight.
Yeah, I mean Nate's busy right now.
He's got his buddies on the right.
So changing gears a little bit back into food, I want to ask you, we got a couple comfort food ideas from you. I want to know, what is your guilty pleasure food? What is the food what's the dish or whatever that you eat that is a bit of your shame eating?
Oh, well, again, I don't have any shame eating.
Well,
But
shame's not a part of your game.
yes, it really isn't. And I derive a lot of strength from that. However, I was just in New York. I had one that used to be one.
Okay.
I had it and it was just okay, which is a cupcake from Magnolia Bakery.
Okay.
Which used to like be like the world ended. However, I think I have a new one.
Yeah.
Which I had in New York, which I've actually been trying to go to here in Los Angeles, which is that Korean place I was telling you about. Which is in New York. There's a place called Justin's Salt Bread, which is Korean salt bread.
Walk me through what is Korean salt bread.
Okay, so it was across the street from the theater where I performed for 2 months. I didn't have it once, and then on the last day, one of the stage managers brought in salt bread for everybody. So it is just a baked and then I think fried piece of. It looks like a croissant, but it's fried on the outside, so it's like got a crispy shell almost, and then soft on the inside, and it has salt on it. So it's sort of the same flavor profile as like a pretzel almost.
Okay.
But in and of itself, it is very buttery and delicious. The roll itself is great. However, it comes with a little tub of sweet cream that has been whipped fresh for you. So it is a salty, buttery bread roll with a crisp outside that kind of shatters a little bit. And then you're dipping it into fresh sweet cream. And I had it, and it was so good that I bought another 6 of them and told my husband, I was like, you have to try this. And he ate it. And I was like, I don't know if he liked it. He ate it, and he was like, this is maybe the best thing I've ever had. Just the roll itself.
Yeah.
And then with the cream was really good.
I do like that your guilty pleasure food is maybe the most niche Hollywood version of guilty pleasure food.
Maybe so.
It's a little bit of it's whipped sweet cream that they did fresh.
Yeah.
It's this very neat.
Oh, I mean the other. Oh, actually, wait. What was the?
Like other people have been like fried Oreos.
No, I'll give you another one, which is
no, but I would still want to try that though.
Oh yeah. But
I'm salivating.
I'll give you another one, which is I do eat Chef Boyardee from the can direct.
Oh yeah, okay, that one. That's the
the-
one that's making the episode. I'm not keeping the.
Yeah.
No,
Which
The ghost-
repulses my husband.
because he has eyes and taste.
Well, because I do come from a culture, at least in my family, but I think it is a little bit of a Chinese culture, which is that like we don't always have food like piping hot.
yeah.
And like my parents are comfortable eating things at like room temperature,
Mhm.
which means I'm comfortable eating a can of Chef Boyardee ravioli from the can without heating it up with a spoon. Then you finish, no dish, throw it in the trash, nice and clean, as the chef would want.
As Chef Boyardee himself would want.
Yeah. That's definitely a remnant of I'm coming home from school. I'm by myself in the house. I'm left to fend for myself, to feed myself. And that was, I mean, yeah. I did lots of things like that as a kid. Like I used to eat hot dogs from the fridge without heating them up.
It's so funny. I would eat a hot dog out of the fridge, and now the thought of a cold hot dog sounds disgusting to me.
That's also why we're both gay.
Well, that's what does it.
But I did something I bet you didn't do, which is I would eat raw chicken drumsticks from the fridge.
No, because there's health advisories against that.
Sure, although in Japan,
although you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. I have a pretty impenetrable stomach when it comes to like what did I have recently? I had something recently where I was eating it, and I think it was like leftover Indian food or whatever that I had in New York, and I was eating it, and I was like, I think this is spoiled, and I noticed that I was able to like eat it, be like, I think this is spoiled, and then throw it out, but like my body was able to just have it,
Right.
notice that it probably had gone bad. Didn't taste the best, but you know, I think a lot of people would be like extremely sickened by that.
Did you stop eating it when you realized it might be spoiled, or did you say, I think this might be spoiled, I can finish it?
No,
Okay.
but I think I probably went one bite further than most people would go, and I mean, Eric would just look at it and be like, no, like not even venture in there.
Oh, that's funny. All right. We have taken up an hour of your time. Where's the best place people can find you to go check you out?
On Instagram or TikTok at Chris Grace Comedy, or you can see my tour dates chrisgrace.live.
Chris Grace, I'm very happy. I'm always happy that you do stuff with and for me. We're always happy to get together with you. And I'll keep stalking you and keep making sure you're my friend. So when you have these big Netflix specials, you don't delete my number.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is if I level up 1 or 2 more levels, the gap might be too large.
Yeah, I keep trying to. I just need to. I'm creeping up to stay as close as possible.
You have 2 approaches. One is you can keep leveling up too, which you are doing.
Sounds exhausting though.
Or you can try to hold me back.
Sounds more likely.
I don't think that's that hard actually. I think
I'm changing my plan.
Yeah, I think that's pretty easy.
So, all right. Well, that is another episode of It Gets Butter. Thank you so much for doing it. And stick around. Let's do an episode of Beer with a Queer.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.